Everyone and their mother has talked about view botting, especially in the Twitch space, and just people buying bots to artificially inflate their numbers. And so I decided, why not add my opinion to the mix and just, add on to this pile of people who are talking about the same thing over and over again. I always thought it was really interesting for people who botted their Twitch channels, I guess, or like Twitch chats, I guess, and also people who went into random people's Twitch chats and botted them. It never really made sense to me. I guess it's never really something I wanted to do, but I guess I can understand. I get the idea for why people do it, I guess. I don't really understand it, but I get the idea for why people do it. But it's becoming a lot more of a big issue this time, during these past few months. I guess in the last year or two, it's kind of been really relevant. Of just bigger streamers, I'm talking people with around 1,000 or more viewers without the bots, just buying a bunch of bots and then spamming them and having their numbers be artificially increased, just so it looks like they have a bigger number attached to the name that they have, so they have more clout. And it didn't even help really that I think it was a Twitch manager or something recently came out saying that it is, I guess, competitively advantageous for someone to buy bots so that it gets them higher up on the algorithm and potentially gets some more actual human beings in their chat rather than just a bunch of bots. But it's always been a big problem around primarily bigger streamers who have been buying bots to make their Twitch account go bigger. I'm not going to specifically name people by name who I think are view botting because I don't really want to get into any sort of just annoying people coming into my comments and just saying anything about it. But if you think about a lot of the biggest I was gonna say VTubers, what the fuck am I doing? Twitch streamers in general, you can kind of see that maybe their numbers are a bit interesting, especially if you look at around the time where Twitch actually enforced getting rid of bots for the 2 days that they did, and a lot of people's viewership just tanked. Now obviously they did kind of shoot wide with their algorithm or whatever, how they try to detect bots. It did recognize a lot of people who were actual human beings in people's chats that it recognized them as bots, so it did tank a lot of extra people's viewership. But it was still kind of showing to be a bit effective on diminishing some people's viewerships, especially for those who seemingly were botting their entire Twitch channel. And I mentioned earlier, it is always confusing for me to why people view bot. I kind of really would never get around to myself. So if you're a bigger streamer, let's say I don't know, 5,000 viewers, that's a lot. That probably puts you in the top 0.01% of viewers, or Twitch streamers. I mean, 0.001% of Twitch streamers. You will probably have a lot of money on the inflow. 5,000 concurrent viewers. That's probably 10,000 subscribers. If I just shoot out, I guess that might be a very generous assumption, but I'm just gonna go double. We'll go 5 to 10,000 actually. So that means you're getting between 10,000 and 25,000 pre-tax dollars a month. That's a lot of money. But obviously, I don't think people really care too much about the money. Well, I guess they do care about the money. That's kind of why a lot some people are Twitch streaming now. It's become a career. But I think they also just care about the amount of clout that comes with streaming or to a large view number. I think they kind of get addicted to seeing a bigger number by them, and when it kind of just plateaus a little bit, but they've found their community, they found their niche, they kind of get really annoyed and then eventually view bot. But I do think it is primarily just them trying to be clouded and also them trying to acclimate more and more actual human being YouTube holy shit viewers, because obviously more viewers, more real life viewers means more money. And also on the topic of money, I think it also helps them artificially inflate their viewership numbers to advertisers. I do think it's kind of interesting for people who always use their view bots to artificially inflate their numbers during a sponsor stream. Because if that sponsor stream has any sort of referral link or just any way for it to track how many people are engaging with the content, I bet they can kind of figure out that their person is inflating the numbers to just absolutely monumental proportions. Or maybe they're even view botting the referral link, so it does look like a lot more human beings are clicking the links, interacting with whatever content they're doing. I don't really know. I'm assuming view bots and bots of any sort have gotten a lot more advanced in these years. I've kind of just been stuck assuming that the view bots are just the ones that make the number go up and type occasionally in your chat. But I'm assuming they got a lot more bullshit that they can do now. And then I guess I've talked about bigger streamers doing it just because it's kind of at this point they're in chase of clout and money. I think the interesting thing for who people do it to are smaller streamers, someone who maybe have 10, 15 average viewers. Obviously, I don't think those people are gonna give themselves 1,000 extra viewers, but I think the reason why smaller streamers do it is the reason why the Twitch manager or whatever said do it. It kind of puts you up a little bit higher and gets you on the higher ups of the recommended feed on the search categories that always filter from high to low. So when smaller streamers view by, it's more just them trying to just do anything possible for them to get get big in Twitch streaming and like get a career out of it eventually. And so it kind of is just like both sides of the view botting, both small and large streamers are just like in this endless pursuit of content or not content, Jesus, money and like clout. Um, I don't know why people do it though. I feel like, it's a lot more entertaining if you have an actual community of people who are like human beings and like you're able to cultivate like a lot of memes and a lot of jokes. Because if your entire career, or I guess let's go with me. If my entire career is built on a bunch of robots and like me paying for people to give me attention, I'd kind of be unable to look myself in the mirror. I'd kind of feel like I just lied my way to success. But maybe that's the meta. Maybe that's why I haven't blown up at all. It's because I haven't view botted my shit yet. Maybe I gotta go look into view buying my streams. But I think it is always just a lot more entertaining to just, have real life human beings in your chat rather than have like 100 robots. I don't really know. I don't really know how people do it, how they have like just a non-moving chat or like a very clearly AI generated chat. I don't know how they're able to like get themselves to do that. And I also think too, like another thing that view botting doesn't do, especially if you're a smaller streamer, because like if big streamers do it, like it's nothing I really can do about it. It's kind of like who gives a shit? They already have enough money. They're just gonna actually make more. If you're a smaller streamer, it kind of also like dilutes the possibility of like you actually becoming like a good content creator. Now, I'm not saying like all small streamers are just shit content creators, but I'm saying like you don't really have a feedback loop. You don't have the ability like to bounce off chat. You don't have like the ability to interact with chat, like because you're just talking to a bunch of robots, and there's not really feedback on whether or not like you're trying to get better at content to see if it's actually good or not. Like if someone like comes to your chat and talks to you the entire time, you can see how they're vibing with what you're doing. You can see how like even if like they don't really like the game that you're doing, how well you can riff off the person and see if like they just want to stay due to your personality. But if you do it with a bunch of bots, they're just going to be like PogChamp, Epic, PogChamp, wow, good job. And it doesn't really, cultivate the ability to, produce good content anyway. But like, I guess once again, on Twitch and YouTube, I guess now there's still a lot of people who like the entire point is just pushing out good content. But because once again, we have seen more and more popularity on these platforms and more people making a career out of it, it's going to just be like a race to the peak and a bunch of people who are trying to make money off of what they seemingly view as like an easy and quick way and also a fun way to make money. When once again, we all know that basically like the top 0.1% of streamers, that's a generous number, actually are able to make careers out of this. But yeah, I just want to give my opinion on the most like talked about thing of all time. I will never Twitch bot. I don't really see a point in it. It's kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. And like I said, it doesn't really make me want to, I guess, produce good content if I have a bunch of robots talking to me. I'd rather have like one human being talking to me rather than like 1,000 robots. At least in my opinion, no. With ChatGPT, people are more happy speaking to one robot than one human being. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm just like, behind the curve mentally in the societal degradation of people permanently chasing clout and attention. I don't really know. But whatever it is, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.